Today, I have a special treat for all of you. We have actual footage of a warrior from the land of Rathe using a merciless battle axe in battle. Let's go to the videotape. Oh, now that's gonna leave a mark. Today's video, I'm gonna rant about how bad this weapon really is. Then I'm gonna make the argument as to why the warrior class really needs a vanilla 4-attack weapon. Now, sure, it would be even cooler if that weapon was an axe, but to be fair, given some of the support we've seen in Dynasty, primarily cleave, probably it shouldn't be. A huge shout out to our channel members for supporting what we do here. If you want to get involved with the channel and the Dice Commando community, please consider joining as a channel member. Remember, these videos are only possible with your support. You can show that support with a like, a subscribe, and by leaving us a comment and sharing your feedback. Community first, and go Commando. Hey there, Flesh and Blood folks. Welcome back to Dice Commando and Go Again, a fabulous cast. Thanks for checking in. Today we are talking why my warrior class needs a 4-attack weapon. Now, before we get started, I do want to let everybody know that we are currently in the Black Friday through Cyber Monday sale over at Fab Foundry, 15% off with their prices. That puts it below TCG Player Low. When you head over there, use the link below for good discounts. Just don't buy out the stuff that I want, all right? That's the deal we have. Thanks and thanks. All right, so yes, the thesis statement for today's video is that the warrior class needs access to a weapon that provides a single card hand breakpoint attack. Now, ideally for me, this weapon would swing for 2, enabling a warrior front pump, right? That's putting it akin to something like a romping club. But honestly, at this point, I'd settle even for a 3 pitch for 4, akin to what the Guardians have in spades, right? So first, to kind of put in context of why I'm saying this, let's rant about this little disappointment right here, right? This card, the Merciless Battle Axe, was so close to filling the slot that I was looking for, and for being what I think Warrior needs right now. But in the certainly perhaps wise decision to be conservative with the new overpower mechanic, in my opinion, it left this underpowered. See what I did there? So witty. Now, in my opinion, this should have been either a 2 for 3 or a 3 for 4. Now, the arguments are coming already for both of it. They say, well, we can't have it as a 2 for 3 because then it would have been too easy to trigger with cleave. That's a fair argument, except for the fact that cleave came in the same set. So they could have very easily just had cleave be a normal warrior front pump curve of the 1-3 with its thing, right? Which is very much on curve with the warrior front pumps. And then this would have been fine because it wouldn't have triggered overpower. On the other hand, you say, hey, well, if this was a 3-4, it would be very, very difficult to trigger overpower, which is also a fair argument. That said, this axe is really, really bad in terms, like as it is, this axe is really, really bad in terms of turning on overpower because you have to have 2 1-3 front pumps, or you have to use, one of the ones from this new set. But all of a sudden you're looking at a 3-card hand, and that's just to get overpower, because keep in mind that reactions don't apply to this. Yes, you can use reactions on this, but they won't matter for overpower, because overpower specifically is, it's not the same as dominate where it's 1 card. Overpower specifically is action cards, right? So you can defend react all you want on this baby. So that's why I'm saying the attack reactions don't fit into the argument of the doubled attack, right? Because it would have already moved past the point where it mattered at that point, right? Just to be clear, right? So fair enough, Andrew, you don't like it, blah, blah, blah. So why do they need a 2-4? Fair enough. The main reason I argue is really to give Warrior a fighting chance against the current meta ice heroes to a certain extent. And it's not necessarily because of the ice mechanic, but it is those 2, well, yes, there's 3, but it's the 2 specifically I'm talking about are Oldhim and Icelander, right? So in the Icelander match, what we're primarily doing right now is throwing single blade every turn. And if they block, maybe you're reacting. That's if you haven't already taken to the face or been disrupted at that point. And I would rather be throwing a 2-4 or a 3-4, preferably a 2-4, especially against Icelander. I would rather be throwing that breakpoint attack to help get over. And I think that would really make that match a lot more achievable for our warriors. And it's really the same argument with Oldhim, right? Because here's how the Oldhim match goes right now, right? I swing for 3 with 2 floating. Maybe I front pump and threaten go again, knowing I'm probably not going to get that go again. So I'm swinging for 6 with 1 floating. Oldhim blocks 2 effective for no permanent cards with his shield and then the crown. Maybe he blocks, maybe he doesn't. But then he swings back at me with a 1 card hand for 4, maybe threatening ice if you take the hit, right? There's virtually no world in which you can outmatch that, right? It just doesn't exist. Now, if you were coming at him with a 1 card hand for 4, that's very different, right? He has to do something. Now, again, someone's saying, okay, well, the 2/4, that's kind of scary because of the way that Warrior works with the front pumps. Well, what if you just throw 1 permanent card, say you throw a Plow Through or even a Warrior's Valor or something like that on it? Now for a blue pitch, a 2 card hand, one of which is permanent, you're coming for 7. And I say, okay, you're right, that's maybe good, but there's no shortage in the world of heroes, even Guardians, or not even, especially Guardians, who can come at you with a 2 card hand, 1 being permanent, 3 for 7, right? So I don't believe it to be off curve to ask for a 7 2 card hand, 1 permanent. I don't think that's off curve in what I'm asking for, keeping in mind that it would cost you 3 total. And again, even if I had to have a 3 card hand, 2 of which were permanent, right? 1 blue pitch, 1 of which is permanent, and then I have to have another card to pitch, and then I can maybe threaten a react or something from Arsenal. I think it really opens up the design space. I don't believe it's, and maybe not the design space, but it certainly opens up your deck building design space is more what I mean there, right? Because Warrior is so trapped right now in its pretty strict 1 for 3 curve. You front pump, swing for 6, react for 9, off your 1 blue. It's really pretty linear in where we're at. And there's a lot of, we did get the new instant, Iron Song Pride. That changes up things a little. They have to worry about your reacts and all that. But it's still a very linear overall mathematical equation, right? And you can't really dig in on these fatigue heroes, or I should say you can't really dig in on these slow play heroes, right? Unless you are trying to Dawnblade twice. I mean, that's kind of the Warrior thing, is you're really trying to swing twice. And in any match where Warrior's strategy, I think that's a good way to say this, right, is Warrior's archetype overall, whether it be, now Boltyn's a little different, right, but whether it be Kassai, whether it be Dorinthea, whatever, right, whether it be axes, the idea is that you're trying to swing multiple times with your weapon. That's fundamentally what they're trying to do. And a lot of these decks lately, if you guys have, you guys maybe saw the interview I had with Fluke and Box, where we talked to Dorinthea for just shy of an hour. A lot of those strategies were like, hey, let's use, Wounded Bull or stuff to go over top, and then we'll just swing once, and then maybe threaten reacts. If Warrior is in a world where, even with the 1-3 curve, their job is to only swing 1 time, I think they can't cut it without a 2-4, right? So that's really my overall take here, is if they are supposed to play in a world where they can only swing 1 time, they need a breakpoint attack, right? Without it, I think that by and large, the Warrior class as a whole is really going to be relegated to mid-range. They're going to continue to spoil aggro really well, but without the flexibility to go with that breakpoint, above breakpoint attack, I think you lose the flexibility on the other side of the field, and Warrior is just relegated to fall where it is, right? Now, to be clear, Dorinthea can still do her thing. I'm still playing her, but I think that overall, if she's being, again, if Warrior's being asked to only take, to build their, if Warrior's being asked to build their decks such they're only taking 1 swing per turn, I don't think they can do it without a 2-4. And that's where this card comes in on my dislike, is 3 for 3 is not okay. It's not okay, but it's not going to work. 3 for 3 is not going to work. It either needs to be 2 for 3 or 3 for 4, one of the two. So that's my take. Like I said, I don't care I'm not asking for anything stupid. It could be a blank weapon that's 2 for 4. That's all I'm asking. Now, of course, it wouldn't be, because that's not fun to design, right? I get it. So it'll probably end up being a 3-for-4 that does something. Fair enough. I get it, because that's not fun to design. But you know what? A blank 2-4 would be really fun to try and figure out how to make that work into like a single swing warrior. So I think that's what I'd like to see in the future. Let me guys, let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. We'll have the chats. But that's my take on it today. I don't like this. I think that's a pretty accepted one. But is the 2-for-4 or the 3-for-4, is that what warrior really needs to succeed? I think it is. Let me know. Thanks for joining, folks. Go Commando.